Now, what kind of impersonator would I be if I didn't consider and show you I can do some of the classical voices like Stevie Wonder or even Smokey Robinson? So, of course, when you grow up, I didn't know the man was African or mixed African or what his nationality was, and that didn't matter to me. I liked this music, right? Right. But I'm kind of a white looking dude, I guess. You can consider me that, right? Kind of mixed myself, but I got the brown hair, brown eyes type features of most, Caucasian men of this variety, right? Right. So I look more Caucasian than, say, pure Asian or African American or, redheaded Irish or Scottish or whatever, or Viking with the Norse sandy blonde hair or whatever, right? Right. The hair color happens to be, right? Now you have four sets of eye color. Blue, but there's variants of blue. It can be sparkling blue, light blue, dark blue, right? Almost can't tell if it's blue. Then you got green, of course, and that can be a variety, right? And then you got, of course, brown, and then you got black or dark. So dark you can't tell if the person has irises or not, right? But they do, trust me, right? Okay, the thing is, though, here's the thing. You're a man. You're not defined by the color of your skin. By the quality of your heart. That's what God judges you by. Because God is no respecter of persons or races or anything like that to begin with, right? Right. So I start off with a little cruising. Cruising on the Friday afternoon, whatever day. I took Friday for a reason, right? Right. It's not my song, so gotta add a little, right? Go way too soon. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da. Alright, so, The tears of a cloud when there's no one around. Oh, yeah, baby. So that's, again, Tears of the Clown by Smokey Robinson. And like I said, if you're in person, that's what you do, right? You go for stars like Smokey Robinson, not knowing when you're a child who the band even is. You just listen to his voice, you learn to adapt to it because you're. See, I'm teaching you unison in music, right? Which is a little different than, say, singing in your own voice or singing independently of one another. Which, when you do that and you're in a choir, you stand out like you're short thumb, though, sometimes. That's the problem. Some people can't sing in unison, but they can sing better in their own voice, right? Right. That's what I learned growing up. Right? They can't sing well with others, but they can still sing, but, just don't quite match with the choir, right? You can't quite hit that unison note, right? Right. With other people, right? And what you're doing is you're a little sharp or flat when you're supposed to be right on the note, right? Right. So you stick out like I keep singing, row, row, row your boat, right? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So every time you sing that, you gotta go row, row, row your boat. Unless you take a different part. That's the baritone-based part. Gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So when you go to different parts, you go to different parts, right? And commit, right? Either sound with group or don't, right? I mean, either way you're trying to sing, right? I understand. That's part of the point, right? Well, I don't want to get too long, and I just did a couple of songs about Smokey Robinson and didn't think he's coming out with a new album, so go buy it, right? I want to be part of the promotional team as well, because I love his music growing up. Though he don't know me from Hill of Beans, right? I've heard of him, of course, right? And I like his music as well, right? So there's a little, Smokey Robinsons for you. Now, when I was starting out on YouTube, of course, I would do the whole song, not quite understanding copyright infringement myself, but you can do a snippet, a little bit of the song. Some amount has to go to fair use and copyright law too. FBI and Congress, right? And Senate and President. We have a right to sing the songs on the radio a little bit now, even on YouTube. It's an unwritten copyright rule, right? Where someone can sing the song a cappella, I'm not using the instruments they use with, Smokey either, right? And the miracles and all that, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm using Smokey's voice, right? Just his voice, right? So I'm teaching you how to sing with Smokey, and if you listen, you can do it. If you don't, well, we need better hearing. Cup your hand to your ear to hear your voice better. And then maybe you can change it a little bit. Oh. Okay, so you hear my regular voice. It's just here, right? And then if I sing it in my regular voice, cruising on a Sunday afternoon. So I'll throw back in the original voice, the wording there, right? Well, that's the thing about the song. You can pick any day of the week, right? If Smokey says Sunday, well, you can say Friday or Saturday or something like that. To show it's you, not just right, some kind of recording or some kind of editing of his voice, right? It's really you teaching impersonation of Smokey Robinson. Now, problem is, does Smokey have a, auto-tune? I don't know. But I'm not going to accuse him of auto-tune. It don't sound like auto-tune. I don't know. I don't know. Either. I've heard the rumor, though, Smokey, you know what I mean? I don't know you personally, but I've heard rumors you're using some kind of form of auto-tune. I don't know you are or aren't, but it sounds good, whatever you're doing. Kind of give him a compliment. Whatever you're doing, it sounds good to me. I don't know. Right? But that's the point. Sugar is sweet, right? Vinegar is sour, right? Either make it sweet or sour, you know what I mean? That's what John talking about books, right? The books are sweet or sour. You don't want to hear the whole truth they're saying to you, right? There's more than one passage in the book, too, and then you ignore it, right? Uh-oh. Like John saying Jesus has paps, but he's the only one to see Jesus on the cross, right? So he's telling you something the other 11 didn't see, including Jesus, right? Necessarily, before the cross. So that's your problem when you don't listen to the man who's the only one who can testify what Jesus fully looked like naked, right? But you don't want to change your perception because what? You're afraid your parents are already in hell? They probably are. Don't worry about them. Worry about yourself. Peter said, save yourself from this untoward generation. Am I above my parents, said Elijah? Yeah, I'll be above them, right? They didn't know what the hell they're doing. You know God for God, right? Not let someone else tell you what God is. It'll tell you what it is itself. If you listen to it versus your parents. That's why you got to love neither father nor mother more than Jesus or son or daughter if they're leading you astray, whether intentionally or not. Now, that don't mean you stop loving them altogether once you find out they're not right, but you try to help them. Right? You try to help them. More than they're really trying to help you, but you don't know what you're doing either. You're caught in the mire too, right? You're in between the understanding or the denial, right? Yourself. Don't be above them, but be humble to God and then, right? And tell them, hey, look, this says this is this. And there's something in Isaiah that says something about kings with female breasts being able to suckle a child, right? Well, what does that mean? Hermaphroditism. Oh, what's hermaphroditism? Well, as far as one is both male and female and has both the penis and the vagina, but they can also help nurse a child, right? That's the concept that goes back to even if it was Satan in a human form and he had boobs and a penis and a vagina, right? Why he kind of used the fig tree to distract Adam and Eve, right? There was something on the branch of the fig tree that Eve thought was a serpent, and it was talking to her, okay? I don't know if that's normal in Eve, but it ain't normal now, so something's going on, right? It is to make you ask a question further. Well, how did the serpent speak to Eve, and yet no serpent speaks to us today? Seek the answer. Okay, and you shall find.